Welcome back, folks. It's been a couple days and my desk is messy because I've been uber freaking busy. And I need to move my microphone right over here. There we go. Alright, time for the grand opening. Let me grab my handy dandy Gerber flick and pop this mofo open. Let's see what we got. It's from TNT Guitars in Clemen Falls, Oregon. I wonder why it took them so little time to send it over here. I only live just like... So let's look at the stuff they sent us. We've got a big manila envelope full of stuff, and we have got the Blue Moto SSH pickguard. This is what's going on Jason's guitar. It's a blue pearloid SSH pickguard. It's basically the... Let me get the freaking camera over here. Dag nab camera. Do you have any freaking guts? Anyway, this is the SSH pickguard with perfect shielding shield in the back. It's the same exact brand and style pickguard as I have on my black Strat here, except it's cut for a humbucker in the bridge. The next thing we're going to open is this. It's so nice to finally have a letter opener. Here is the through body stringing bridge that's going to go on the guitar. Through body, you can see it's got 6 holes in the back. So we've got that there, plus the fixing screws. There's our push-pull pot and our toggle switch. There's the 6 string ferrules that go in the back of the body. And here's the Kluson style tuning pegs. Now we just need to get his guitar up here and start the tear down. So now, just prop it up against the body. I will undo the tuning pegs. You only have to do them just enough to loosen the tension enough to pull the string off, like that. I'm not even going to bother taking the strings all the way off. I'm going to like undo the bridge screws after that. So right here is how I loosen them up. Usually 4, 5, or 6 turns, depends on the string. The higher strings usually need more tension release. Okay, now that we've got all the strings taken off, we can remove the bridge. On these bridges on the first axe, you have 2 screws up here, you have a center screw here, and the screws right here and here. I'm also going to test the positioning of the new bridge over that, because if possible, I can line up the pickguard and therefore also the bridge using this center hole right here. Because sometimes I often have the screws in the same spot. If they're at least close enough, you can usually cut a thread good enough. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screwdriver with a head like this, nice big chunky one, because that's what kind of screws First Act uses on these things. And I'm going to pop these buggers right off, like that. We take the bridge off and test fit the new one. If it fits on there, we're going to drill some pilot holes through the top using a Dremel, or possibly redo my cordless while we go and wax pot the pickups so they don't squeal and don't feed back. The bridge, of course, just lifts right off like that. And you can see there's a little bit of dust and dirt in the holes and everything. And there we go. And that's what it looks like underneath the bridge plate. Clean it off. Kind of see where the paint's chipped Right here, this wire right here, if you're working on an electric guitar, you want to remember anytime you do wiring on it to put this wire back here. This is the ground wire that contacts the bridge. It's the reason why when you put your hand on the strings it stops buzzing. Now we're going to remove the pick guard. Pick guard's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. And I never, and also don't do it this way normally because you might end up scratching the guitar. The only reason I can do it is because this guitar is made of very light wood and it's very easy to remove the screws on it. And the finish on these is pretty freaking durable. They use some sort of really heavy duty, there we go. And then of course the pick guard just lifts right off and you can see my shielding job inside. There's what the bottom side of cheap single coils looks like. As you can see, you got a ceramic magnet, you got plastic base, you have stock Strat style pickup covers. Down here's the bridge pickup, humbucker. It's got a ceramic magnet under this brass plate and 2 coils. Over here you got 3 500K potentiometers and the switch. So yeah, we're going to strip this whole thing clean and mount everything on this. Of course, I've shielded the cavity with aluminum shielding tape to match up with the shielding on the back of the pick guard, and they'll cut down on extra RF noise. I've done this to all my guitars. It works really good. A lot of people don't think it does, but I really do. I mean, my experiences have always been positive ones. Now we're going to undo the output jack. And then I'm going to cut the 2 wires to it because I'm going to give them a more standard, better quality output jack than this weird thing that First Act uses. See, First Act uses in their electric guitars, at least these older ones, they use this strange looking output jack like this, like you'd find in an amplifier or something. I don't like those. I like the old vintage style Switchcraft clip jacks, which is what we're going to put in this thing. I'm going to clip those 2 wires, and then we're going to take this out. Actually, 2 leads to clip. There's the black one and the red one. And there you go. There's your output jack removed. Then the pick guard assembly itself, we'll just undo this ground wire and lift this whole thing off. And there we go. There's your whole pick guard assembly removed from the guitar. Now we just have a plain body to work with. Can't wait to see it with this installed. And the next step in the process is removing the neck. So, just 4 bolts in the back there. Note the back, there's nothing for the strings to go through back here. There will be 6 ferrules right about that area on it when I'm done. And the neck comes off with 4 screws right here. And these have to be nice and tight when working with them. You can't skimp on neck screws. Neck on a solid body electric guitar deals with forces up to about 150 pounds per inch, pulling that neck back towards the guitar, especially on a long scale Strat like this. I mean, this is not a kiddie's guitar entirely. It's actually quite a quality instrument hiding in here, especially if it sounded as good as it did when we last played it. So I'm going to undo this one first. They get a little harder towards the end, especially when you're doing it one-handed like this, but I'm fine with it. One thing to warn you about when putting neck screws back in, though, is if you're putting them back in and they're turning too tight, you want to put pilot hole. I have a million times in the past put screws in the neck plate of a guitar and had them actually break in half while screwing them in, and it's a bitch to get them out of there. I'm not mistaken. Yes, First Acts, the cheap Walmart guitars, have a solid body, just like a Fender Stratocaster, just like a Gibson Les Paul, just like a Fender Jagstang or anything else you get. It's regular solid wood. Maybe it's not tonewood, maybe I'm incorrect in thinking it's poplar, but it seems to be. That's what they listed as on their website.